Alrighty.
I guess it worked this time.
Hurrah! Right. Apparently Ted has been twiddling more knobs than he should have been. Perhaps is the situation. Ted, what have you been doing down there? You're like one of those women at the flight desk when you're trying to get tickets changed or something.
I just want to know if we're actually live this time, so we don't sit here for another 6 minutes talking and like blah 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 blah. Yes. Why are there no more comments?
Right. Okay. Well,
we are! Yay!
Hooray.
Okay, so we're fucking live. Right, we were answering all the questions and reading some comments, and then nothing happened after 3 minutes, and we didn't understand what was going on.
And also, there's no record of the original stream having ever occurred on my YouTube account.
No, that's kind of fascinating.
It's not even like a short stream and then it ended. It was just nothing was there. Ted really must have hit the red button.
Yeah, so now the things are coming into the chat like normal. That
Excellent.
Looks more...
Very good.
More real.
Very good.
So,
normal transmission...
Do you want to start with the threats again?
What threats?
They need to subscribe to my channel and stuff.
Oh, yes. Those ones. Failure to subscribe to all of Pim's channels on the social media that she needs you to, that she's about to tell you about, leads to visits late night from Ted and his small guillotine. And his eye-poking equipment. Yes. Good idea. You just go and twiddle the knobs, Ted. Good boy.
Yes. So that's my name. That's how you spell it.
Yeah, without the HRH.
Or go to the description.
The description.
And click the link to my YouTube's. Fucking hell, we got a fucking super chat already. And I have many fucks to say before I can catch up with how many fucks I managed to get in the 6 minutes we had on the other one.
Good. Good. Thank you for the super chat.
Yes, Ted is a Twitter national treasure. Good stuff.
Yes, I can't do a thing with him. I've told him to tone it down. I've told him to not swear so much on the formerly Twitter platform.
But he's just like me. He doesn't listen to that and he continues to swear.
That's it.
Good. Maybe get Ted his other eye for error-free knob twiddling. Well,
when he starts being reliable in that respect, we might think about it. Yes.
Do the Q thing.
Oh, yes. The appropriate form of communication if you want a question answered is to put a large capital style Q and then a colon.
Like that.
Thusly, write your question, as they have done here quite correctly. Thank you, Lieutenant General Mark Linford, for that. And then suffix it with a question mark so that Ted can lift his one eye up from his knob twiddling for long enough to find said questions and pass them on to Pim. Good boy.
Right, so shall we answer this question again?
Yes.
Then? What are Ted's qualifications for knob twiddling?
Oops. Oh, Ted's just fallen on his face just when he started talking about his qualifications. Well, I think you have the best answer for that question.
Yes, Ted does not need any qualifications in knob twiddling. He has 52 years of experience, which beats any qualifications.
Yes.
There you go.
Good.
So get fucked if you question his authority.
Yes.
He has a lot of knob twiddling experience and he's practicing every fucking day.
Yes, good.
So there you go. Now you can get your questions in.
Questions.
And stuff.
Oh, look.
We had one question from Christian.
Did we?
Yes.
What was that about?
About how to know when to stop eating protein, because when he eats too much fat, he feels sick. And when he eats too much protein, his stomach hurts. Well, I think he answered his own question.
Yeah, good. That was quite good stuff too.
We answered that previously.
To ourselves.
Whatever.
In a previous version of this live stream.
So talking to yourselves get boring.
Well, we missed you after about 3 minutes. We were like filling in, just talking.
It was 6 past. It was just that there were no more comments after 3 minutes passed.
Yeah. Hey, listen, also, DC and I had a really good chat, I think, in terms of the quality of the content. just a few evenings ago. And look out on DC's channel for that, because it's a really good, I think a really good, a good discussion we had on many topics.
Very good.
And if you're not subscribed to DC, that is also a cause of late night visits from Ted. Only this time he will bring his bucket of soapy frogs and that wetsuit with the bottom cut out.
Do you need to poke me with that fucking thing?
It's not the first time I've heard that.
No, the fucking thing.
Right, good.
Do you receive a lot of revenue from ad viewings, or should viewers also consider becoming members or supporting in other ways, or do ads sufficiently support you?
Okay.
Ads are pathetic.
Ads, it seems I get around about $1,000 per million views on my channel. It's of the income streams that we've carved out for ourselves online. It's remarkably the smallest. YouTube does not pay well, is the short answer to your question. So yes, please, we would like it very much if you would support what we're doing, such that any of the other things that we're doing can possibly be of utility to you in such a way as to be mutually beneficial. That way we can pay Ted's appearance fees, because he's getting quite ridiculous.
Yeah. More and more demands. And all he does is fucking around on Twitter X.
Yeah.
Twitter X.
Yeah.
Right. Is creatine used as energy / ATP for muscles? Could it be an alternative to glycogen?
Good question, and the answer is no, it could not be an alternative. These so-called different energy systems that are taught are actually all just component parts of an integrated holistic system, and various cogs are needed to drive various parts of that machinery, and that cog only. There is no alternative to glycogen for muscle contractile energy provision. There is nothing rapid enough to produce that energy that quickly. So that's the only way it can be done. And that system is connected back to the ATP system via phosphocreatine as a go-between. So that's basically how it works. That's a whole semester of lectures crammed into a very short period, for want of not wanting to waffle. Hope that helps.
Did you say ATPs?
ATP.
Someone forgot the cue, but we shall read this one anyway.
Well, I don't know. First of all, we should ask Ted whether we should be off with their head.
Yes, off with
What do you
heads.
think, Ted? Does that mean no head off, or does that mean...
What is he doing between your legs?
The usual. The usual.
Knob twiddling. Fuck.
Yeah, no, he said you can live. That's good of his grace, Ted, isn't it?
That's very generous.
I know.
Just had a mitral valve repair, open heart. 3 of my arteries are 20% blocked. 4th one clear. Yeah. Doctor says no more meat. What say you?
Well, okay, that's a special population. We're talking about a relatively advanced disease state, and I wouldn't actually give you any advice of any kind, you in particular, meant for you. I would make general statements only about such a situation. And such general statements would be along the lines of, there is really nothing of acceptable cause and effect evidence extant anywhere in the literature that would support a claim that meat should be avoided. Basically. It's the natural food for a human being. It has been for, well, all of our existence, and all the way back to about 4.5 million years ago, which was all pre-humans and stuff. Long time, lots of meat, all the time. The blockage in your arteries will not be due to meat. That would be due to atherosclerotic lesioning, probably. And at that stage, with a bit of calcification too, I shouldn't wonder. And that is underpinned by things other than the eating of meat or animal fat.
I would be interested if the doctor said anything about sugar.
Because if they didn't, that would be criminal. Because that's one thing we know you absolutely ought to avoid.
Yes.
Yes. However, they need to pay their bills, don't they, in the medical fraternity? We all have our crosses to bear. We all have our commander-in-chief to adhere to, don't we?
Yes.
It's Ted.
Oh, cold.
Ted runs the show.
Okay, next question.
Yep.
On carnivore, 12 months, steadily lost weight for 6 months, but it's all stopped now for the last 6 months. Still carrying excess body fat, 10 plus kilos. Any suggestions, please? Thank you.
Right, this is a thing that can occur with a fast phase, then slow phase fat loss pattern over time. The largest control factor now at this stage for you in that phase, if that's what's going on, this is my educated guess, is inflammation, your hormonal status, your endocrine status, all of those things, vastly more important than exactly what goes in was in the first phase or the volume of it. So now it's just that slow, steady ramp to get the final vestiges of your inflammation under control. I suggest a 5-part program. It's on my channel where I'm doing that on the thumbnail that says there are 5 health hacks that you need to know about. There are actually 5 anti-inflammatory hacks. I would go study that video and do all 5 of those things, for want of a better term, religiously, ongoingly, and within 6 months. If you come back to me and tell me there's nothing different or better that you noticed out of that, you'll be the first person who did say that.
And then he sent a super chat saying,
Yes.
see, previous question, please, which we just did.
Which we just did. And thank you for the super chat. Super chats are always welcome. Less YouTube's 30% fee that they take for those.
They tax it and then someone else taxes it again.
Yeah.
I can eat over 1 kilo of meat for dinner and not get a bump in my glucose. I do get a little bump when I wake. Do you think this is enough for a little insulin increase?
Well, the reason that you're not getting much of a bump in your glucose eating that much meat is probably because insulin's doing its thing and it's doing it well and rapidly. Perhaps. That's a guess. That 1 kilo of meat, whether that's a lot, depends on your body mass, really, because it's all relative. And you will always get a bump in the morning because of the dawn phenomenon. So that's normal. I would suggest keep an eye on any signs and symptoms that you might be developing an electrolyte imbalance, such as leg cramping, twitching of mostly legs, mostly after dark, any kind of heart palpitation sensation, blood pressure issues as possible signs. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
That Ted says nothing as well.
Yes.
He's got a gag order. Because usually if I let him speak, it's just a stream of profanity.
Yes, I mean, I can't think of any. I mean, it's possible that it exists, but I can't think of any dysfunction that I've heard of where people are not secreting any insulin when they eat protein. And if you didn't, then your blood sugar would definitely go up. So I'm not really sure what else to say.
Yeah. Track symptomology rather than trying to head things off at the pass. If there's no symptomology, it's unlikely that there's a problem at this stage. It's another way of simplifying your life. Ted. Goodness.
Is consuming raw beef and drinking blood good because some of other channels said it is natural and thus good? Is that logic sound?
Well, there's nothing inherently wrong with that in terms of as a health risk of any kind more serious than many other health risks of things that you can put in your mouth. I myself would not be attracted to such a lifestyle. Wouldn't appeal to me at all. I need some level of cooking, and I'm not going to drink blood, but I will eat black pudding, sort of.
That has grains in it if you buy it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
But if you have a really good recipe, you can send it my way.
One with no grains.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
But I'm not sure that's even possible to make a good one without any grains of any kind.
Yep. It sounds like you might be listening to the kind of channel hosted by individuals that need numbers to be able to make up the spelling of the name. Apparently, allegedly, I have heard tell that recently he's run into a problem with the law because he's damn near killed his girlfriend or something. Maybe...
I hope people don't blame the meat for that.
Well, this guy's been an extremist in every regard since the beginning. First of all, he was the most extreme vegan around, so that shows you what level the intellect is at. Then he decides he's going to be a carnivore, and he has to be the most extreme example of that. There is a history of him being excluded from a high school for being a bit stabby. And, apparently this has happened. I don't know, this is allegedly, but that's what I've heard. So maybe pick more wisely as to what channels you watch.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyone that says salt is rock, earth flat, probably not.
I like rock.
Yeah, I like rock too.
All right.
Yeah.
If we debunk a pro-plant diet opinion by showing that by showing that the supporting studies lack solid science, how can we claim our pro-carnivore opinion is more valid if it also lacks strong scientific backing?
You don't have to overcome somebody else's false argument with a better one, necessarily. All you have to do is dismiss theirs by providing a route by which you can point to their argument failing and dismiss their argument that way. You'll get away with that 9 times out of 10 in an argumental situation. The point is quite valid that there is no good hard science on hard health outcome in human beings over any period of time as that relates to any aspect of diet. The science is absent. This is a void. This is theology. This is propaganda. It's marketing, a lot of it. There was something like 11,000 papers retracted last year. Yeah. Good stuff. If you want to follow that, absolutely get your teeth into that, read all that stuff, and then do probably a 5 or 8 year training in statistical inference and all of that.
Well, that sounds like lovely.
And then you might have a hope of understanding what any of it says anyway. So, I mean, there's no point arguing the science with someone who doesn't know anything about that. Really?
You done?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Morning, Pim. I may have missed, but how did your dry fasting go and why dry fast? Yes, you might have missed that last week then, because I'm sure we spoke about that.
Yeah.
It went fine. It went better than it should have.
For some.
Well, people always talking about how horrible you're supposed to feel when you're dry fasting. I did not feel horrible. I just had a very dry mouth when I did the 5 days from start to finish, which was psychologically very draining. But that was it. Other than that, I didn't get any body pains or other symptoms that people are talking about. And I'm not preparing for my 7-day dry fast, which I will start in a week. So there. So, next one.
Yeah.
Is there any reason to think that a carnivore diet might help lessen the effects of dystonia?
Well, the only thing remotely concrete or even suggestive of something concrete that I would point to would be that it is the species-appropriate, species-specific diet for a human being. It would seem to be the most highly anti-inflammatory diet that we know about, or diet pattern that we know about, when properly. You've got to do it right. You're not allowed to do it wrong, otherwise we'll point and laugh and say you never really were a carnivore and you did it wrong. All right? So long as you apply the principles sensibly and correctly, there's no reason to think it will do any harm at all. And the likelihood of a lowered chronic systemic inflammatory overburden there is, the lower the likelihood of any particular problem reaching any given threshold to be problematic or any of that. That will be better in that regard. Yes.
I forgot to answer half the question.
Which? What?
Why I'm dry fasting.
All right.
Well, mainly the initial thought was to try and fix my sinuses completely, which I've managed to get a lot better, but not completely solved. And I've had that issue for like 25 years or more. So we shall see. I think there has been an improvement. First, I thought there wasn't, but I think there is a little bit of an improvement overall. So that's kind of encouraging. We'll see what happens after the 7 days.
Yeah.
And they do say that a lot of the healing will come during the refeed, so it might just take a while before it actually gets up to snuff. Snuff.
Yes. Ew.
Okay. I'm doing sprinting, but I'm also doing swimming because it's summer here. Does swimming affect you similarly to sprinting, or am I messing up my results?
I don't think there is a huge problem of antagonistic effect with high intensity swimming and sprinting. Like if you're going to swim, I'm saying, don't just la, dog paddle, lie on your side for a while. I mean, if you're going to swim, get after it. Get from A to B quickly and back again if that's what you're doing. I don't think that's a problem.
But also if it's just recreational swimming and you want to fuck around, there's no problem with that either. It's just not going to add any to your training effect.
So long as that's very low intensity, like really fucking around. What we're suggesting is stay the hell out of the middle. Well, that's what I'm suggesting in terms of what's best for the most part. Your mileage may vary. That's not individual advice. It's a generalised statement. Ted disclaims everything I say, and the reverse is true. He's his own man.
Is he? Yeah. His own bear.
I can't control him.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah. Danger Mouse.
The Randall cycle can account for the construct insulin resistance. Are there other causes of insulin resistance?
I'm sure there are other mechanisms which can be at play, both locally and systemically. I would not be expert in such pathways. I would have to go and find them if they exist and study them. The one I'm really expert in is the one that I always talk about, the one that I absolutely do understand.
Very good. Let's celebrate the 5th super chat on this live stream.
Hurrah!
Thank you very much. Carnivore for 2 years. In my last blood work, my creatinine and EGFR are in normal range, but my bun and bun creatinine ratio are high. Any thoughts on why? Maybe the protein, 240 grams plus weightlifting.
Okay, well, the last part for me is the most sensible thing to point your finger straight at.
Yep.
For all of that. And high just means relative to a reference frame imposed based on a society-wide model of a bell curve. And there are some problems in the way that that's put together in terms of its validity, veracity, utility, basic truth. So I wouldn't worry too much unless you're like off-scale high or something like that.
Yeah.
In which case there might be something to discuss that we need to trace.
I mean, if you don't want to get a false high, you shouldn't lift weights for at least a day or maybe 2 before actually taking the test. So,
yeah.
And as you say, if you're eating a lot of protein, it will probably.
240 grams could be a lot of protein depending on your body mass at this time. It's
hard to eat 240 grams of protein for most people unless you take powders and shit.
It's pretty hard for me. I'm 150 something pounds. Whatever it is.
Okay.
Right, what's next?
We have another super chat.
Yay, we
just
like super chats.
Wish I could contribute more. Well, thank you for your contribution, Jane. Anyway. We appreciate all contributions of all sizes.
Yes. Why isn't the same true for things that poke?
Really? Here's a question without the question.
Good.
I spent 58 years on a standard American diet. After 1 year on carnivore, I feel great and off all meds. CAC test was 61. Another after another year, CAC was 104. Why is it getting worse?
It has a momentum, this disease process, which you need to bring about with several years of doing the right stuff, and there can be some slide before it handbrakes on and starts to regress properly. I would also, in the case of someone in that situation, have a good look at that video about 5 hacks and follow all 5 of those religiously. That will help, I would imagine. That's why I say those 5 things, with some degree of science behind it.
Yeah. Good.
Right.
Are you all raw milk consumers?
Well, we've been getting into the kefir in the last week.
But that's not raw milk.
That's the closest I'm going to get because I'm lactose intolerant.
Well, it's not raw milk anyway. Raw milk, you wouldn't touch raw milk. You said.
If it wasn't so...
He has a thing for
raw
germs. Milky. I imagine that raw milk is dangerous and I'm going to die.
I've never done well with dairy anyway, so that's fine. I can have the non-sugar containing portions of dairy prepared in various ways over various periods of times. Like, I'm quite good with cheese and yogurt. Kefir.
And kefir, apparently.
Yes. Are we done with that?
Is it true that things that feel bad are bad for us, like ice baths or exercise, for example? Things.
No, not necessarily. It's not necessarily a bad thing that you get a discomfort or pain message from your body at various times for various reasons.
No, not at all.
No, I wouldn't be concerned that would be a thing. It's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Hey, Rich, good to see you, man.
I mean, ice baths are good for you. They're not bad. They just feel bad because it's a panic reaction from your nervous system. It's a big change.
She's having a little doggy dream. Are you swimming?
Don't wake her up then. Super Chat, thanks
welcome.
for your answer.
Very welcome. Thank you very much for the $10 US. They're better than Pacific pesos here.
Yes. About exercises, what do you think of full body workouts? It raises HGH on a rate that's better than other training splits.
It's one of the reasons that I always suggest to your average person who wants maximum bang for their buck that they do a whole body exercise every time. No splits. Always do your whole body. I would do it in 12 to 13 large compound exercises. That's the way I know how to do it. Others will do it with various routines of various kinds. Great, valid, awesome. There's a rubber band, John Jackish X3 style. There you go, John. Ching! The rubber band bar thing. We've got one. I like it. Yeah, but whole body if you're going to do it. Or in my case, do 1 or 2 sets of something and then go, is that enough for today? Fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, good.
When glycogen reserves run out, how much time does the body take to replenish from gluconeogenesis?
Yeah.
I like the new term. Shall we just say gluconeogenesis instead?
Yep.
Is training performance without glycogen not affected?
Right. Okay. If you mean your chronic level of glycogen in the muscle, which at rest would be maximized according to your training status and as provisioned by gluconeogenesis, and then you'd have an acute exercise bout which would lower it slightly, actually, not very much. But there would be a fast phase of recovery, depending what's available exogenously in the blood at that time, sugars and things. And then there's a slower phase over the next, depending how intense the exercise bout was, maybe 24 hours, maybe longer if it was really intense. Training again before you've recovered fully is not indicated. That's a bad move, because the whole point of the training is the getting better, and that's the healing of the slight injury you imposed with the last training. So if you whack your body again and re-injure it before it, just no good. That's what most people experience as a plateau. It's not necessary in most athletes. There is a genetic plateau, but it's usually a bit higher than that, and most athletes never get there. secret sauce. You heard it here first.
Harry's in the house.
Ah, the King of Tasmania.
Yes.
How are you, mate? Good to see you. What time is it? 8:42. Come on, son.
Oh, he was here 20 minutes ago. That's...
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, good.
We are behind on the chat.
Yep.
How contraindicated or pro-indicated are hallucinogens, genics even, such as shrooms? Have you either any experience with them?
Right. I am not going to stand one side of the fence or the other on that. I have seen many documentaries about microdosing being incredibly useful in a number of fields, both physically and of psychiatry and combination. I'm quite convinced that there's a likelihood that that may well have some validity. It's not my field. I'm not expert in that field. I personally have never tried shrooms of any kind.
I have about 20 plus years ago, and that was purely recreational. Had nothing to do with mental health or anything. So,
Good.
yeah. I don't have much to contribute. But if you have any nice shrooms, you can send them my way. I would be interested.
This BDF top is vastly too large for me.
This what?
This top.
You have to
Ted, can you send to provisioning, please? We need a smaller size shirt. Goodness.
Need to eat more sugar. Fruit with sugar and honey.
Fruit with fucking sugar. You need to pour out that fucking honey and that fucking sugar. And then stop fucking eating. I mean, what? I forgot. My God, has that boy lost his shit entirely?
Wait.
We're talking coal, if you don't know who we're doing. Hey! You know you gotta eat sugar now. That's the thing. Never mind this neck dart shit I was saying 5 minutes ago. Now it's sugar. You gotta eat sugar.
Okay, enough. My ear is like hurting. The eardrum is about to die. Thank you. How bad is sucralose for health?
Well,
my microbiome does not like it at all. It says, you need the shit right fucking now, and it should not be tidy at all. Tiny amounts affect me straight away.
Queen that must seek new.
Yeah, I can't touch that shit.
I don't have that reaction to it myself. Of the nasty as fuck through to perhaps innocuous, we're not really sure, to some degree at least. Probably more at the innocuous end for most.
Yeah, well.
None of it's good.
No.
You just got to get that shit out of your life if you can, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the safest ones would be probably stevia, monk fruit, maybe erythritol. Those are the ones we have. I've chosen them for that reason. I know a lot of people are talking about allulose being like the new magic pill. I guess the jury's out on that. It doesn't seem to be harmful in any way, but I don't know. It seems to be almost too good to be true. Everything that they've seen in the studies.
The studies, yes.
The studies.
Multiple studies show.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, if you get all those benefits from it, what are the side effects? Like, what's down the line? What's the payoff here? It can't be just a magic pill. I'm always a bit skeptic when something sounds too good to be true. But who knows? Maybe it's the solution to all our obesity problems, and for all the sugar addicts to continue eating sugar. Just takes fucking allulose. Maybe we should try it and see if it does taste like sugar. They say that it does. Super chat.
Yay.
Keto for 4 years. Yay. But last one, totally carnivore.
Nice.
LDL 350, total 500, refusing statin. Doctor fired me.
Good for you. Good work.
Job.
Awesome. Well done. Great work.
Everyone should strive towards having their doctors fire them.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
My mum thinks she has vitamin D poisoning. How much vitamin D do you have to take to get poisoned? Thank you.
Fuck tons.
Yeah. Why would she think she has vitamin D poisoning, though? I mean, did she drink a whole bottle of, like, liquid vitamin D or something? This sounds a bit...
It sounds a bit dramatic, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that could happen accidentally.
Vitamin D poisoning is not a thing that happens.
Unless you do it on purpose.
Yeah. Good story, though.
And what levels, vitamin D levels, does she have? Has she tested it?
Exactly, yeah.
If a study shows that isolated fructose causes some problem, do we have the burden of proof that whole fruits cause the same problem, or is it on the fruity people to prove that it acts differently?
No, look, this is very simple. At the end of the day, if you eat fruit, we know that liberates fructose into your bloodstream, which is delivered to your liver. There are no questions about any of that stuff. We know what the pathway is for fructose in the liver. It is the fast iso form of the KFK enzyme, among other things, in its pathway towards being metabolized there. And that has an effect of directly pulling the ATP level of the cell down. It's the message that is telling your body to eat all the fruit you can, because it's now the last 2 weeks until the winter's going to hit and you need to put some condition on. So no matter how much fruit you eat, it's not going to be ultimately satisfying. And that's also going to lead to your colon having to deal with a fuck ton of fibre, which is exactly 10 metric shitloads.
And now someone would say, but the fruitarians, they're not fat, they're skinny.
Well, that's because they're vastly, hugely lacking in the nutrient required to actually hold any body structure together. Aren't they? But they are at a level of nutrition that's below a healthy thing.
Right, next,
Yes.
we have many questions to catch up with, so let's speed up here, or
Yes.
I'm going to have to start skipping questions.
Right.
Could cold exposure be a sixth anti-inflammatory action to take?
Possibly. Not expert in that myself. It's not on my list of 5 health hacks. It might be beyond number 5 somewhere. Who knows? Yep.
I think so. I think cold exposure is probably really good, but also human beings always want to do more of everything that is good. And if you do cold exposure on every fucking day or whatever, it might be that your body might get too stressed and then get inflamed because you're just releasing lots of stress hormones as well. So just don't do it, overdo it. Been carnivore for 2 years, feeling great, but my sexual desire is weak compared to when adding carbs into diet. Why is that?
Depends what gender you are, what's going on with your hormonal system, your endocrine system, what's going on dietarily, what's going on for you psychosocially, how the relationship's going, if there is one. We need a lot more information. That sounds like an hour-long discussion. I do consultancies if you like. There's a link underneath the video. It's the one that goes bit.ly. There's a link there that you can click that will take you to consultancies.
Please, what is the difference between carnivore and necrovore? Thanks, Jerry.
Necrovore is not a term I've heard used or bandied about. I think that's probably some vegan ideology or something.
I have no idea.
It's a grenade.
It sounds like a necromancer.
Yes. Sounds like nonsense to me. Yes, in the middle of the forest. About the tree falling in the middle of the forest and then no one there to hear it. Doesn't make a sound question. Yes, okay. It does.
If I lost my job recently, should I wait until I find a new job to transition because of the stress?
Yeah, I would, Jean. I wouldn't add anything in your case. And that is advice for you personally, because I have spoken to you at length before and have your history in mind and can do so. And you're asking, so I'm telling you. Yeah, I'd do one thing at once. Yeah.
Okay, male, 65 kilos, eating 400 grams of fatty ground beef and 500 grams of eggs, about 8 eggs, trying to lower my protein, about 170 grams, and up fats, but I don't know what to increase or decrease. I do OMAD. Any suggestions? Holy shit, that's a lot of food.
It is a lot of food, it seems. Are you very active? This is an individual of about my size, so about 150-something pounds, 150 to 160 at tops.
I mean, why don't you, half or reduce the ground beef and add some whatever fat. It's not complicated.
Yeah, just eat less of that stuff that you know to be made of protein, because that really does look like a lot of protein to be consuming. You'd have to be extremely active or extremely muscled, which you can't be at that weight.
But I don't think 8 eggs and 400 grams of fatty ground beef is 170 grams of protein, actually. I think it's lower than that.
Okay. Yes. Also, Ted was supposed to be doing the math for me. He's face down on the desk again.
Face up, actually.
Well, yeah. That's the thing about good story, more emphasis on the dragons, you know, that thing.
Age 53, diagnosed as celiac 12 months ago, been carnivore 6 months now, and still finding my energy levels are quite low. Iron and B12 are back in the normal range. Any advice for healing gut from celiac? 5
things, 5 health hacks in that video. All 5 of those things, for want of a better term, religiously every day. And if you come back to me in 6 months and tell me that's not better now, you'll be the first. That's what I'd do, absolutely. And stay away from the stuff that causes a problem, obviously. Yep, sorry.
What metabolic flexibility really is? Does the body need time to get used to glucose or fat, or only does it shift constantly?
This concept of metabolic flexibility refers to an ability, so-called, for that person's metabolism to rapidly swing between sugar and fat as the primary source of energy. Most of us have this huge inertia in the system, and it's like this big train that needs to be pull on the handbrakes and sparks off the wheels and all that bullshit, and it takes 3 miles to stop, and then you've got to get it going back the other way. It's like that. And a lot of that is training status influenceable, fitness influenceable. There are various legal and illegal interventions available to sort of assist in getting one's gearing the right way. Yeah. Short enough?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good.
I can see fasting, but dry fasting, I don't know.
There's a logic for the dry fasting around expediting the rate at which your body transitions its gearing to the autophagy level, which normally takes 72 hours. You can get that done in the first 24 in some cases. It's forcing your body to use fat to provide you with water. Your own supply of water by burning fat, oxidizing the fat. Resets the immune system rapidly. There's an interesting sort of almost form of meditation, if you like. I'm still struggling with it.
I love it.
She turned me into a newt. I got better.
I'm so much less hungry when I'm not drinking water. It's so much easier.
Because that shuts the serving of the guts and everything down and gets it ready for, let's repair your guts and make them better and stuff. Clean warehouse. And so therefore that whole message to be hungry is also switched off. Your body instinctively knows this is what you need to do right now. I think. That's an opinion.
An opinion.
Opinion, yeah.
Is it still carnivore if one consumes around 20% of one's diet based upon man-made food such as vegetables or man-made sweets and cakes?
Strictly by biological definition, by the fraternity, for want of a better term, of comparative biologists around the place, they say 70% upwards is hyper-carnivore. So yes.
Well, I'm a fucking carnivore then, easily.
That's right. Me too.
So don't come and complain if I eat any fucking blueberries or whatever.
When do I complain? When
or the
you
sweet
eat blueberries?
potatoes I didn't have. Shall eat them soon. Like next week, maybe.
Yeah.
On the carnivore diet for last 2 years with some grapefruit consumption. For last few months, getting abdomen cramps during workout. They are very painful. How can I avoid these cramps? Thanks.
That also sounds like an hour-long discussion to trace what might be going on for you individually in your situation. And the link for consultancies is still underneath the video, and it still goes bit.ly blah /Bart-KAY. It's the next bit. Yeah.
Don't forget to smash that like button, everyone.
Yes, do.
And subscribe to that channel.
Let's do that too.
Pim fucking Johnson.
No, there's no fucking in the middle.
Okay, just Pim Johnson.
Yes, good.
But I want to swear more. I can swear here.
Yeah.
What's the fucking optimal set rep count for improving strength?
Strength, pure strength, is best at the 1 to 4 rep range with 1 or 2 working sets. It's not about volume. It's about absolute strength. What can you lift? Very few times, obviously.
Good.
Yeah.
Bart, you said that you were interviewing a type 1 diabetic who had stopped their insulin because of Cirrol. Did you do the video or is there any update?
We are re-recording soon for your viewing pleasure because the original recording failed.
Fuck.
Bugger.
Yes, I got to say fuck again.
Yeah.
Fuck. Is coffee the most indicated liquid or object to insert in one's body to conduct a detox of the body system in the means of an enema?
It's not something I've ever used myself clinically or in practice of any way. I've heard all sorts of tales about such things. I have colleagues who do have such things as part of their practices. Okay. What do you think about coffee enemas?
No, thank you.
Right. Good.
I mean, seriously, do you see a caveman sticking a hose up their ass to rinse it with coffee that didn't exist? That's my opinion. But yes, we are not in a normal environment. So if you want to do that shit, do it. I shall stay away from having coffee up my ass. Thank you.
Roger.
That's my opinion.
Consider us all instructed. Or so instructed.
3 questions.
Yes.
This is rude.
Right. Triple charge on the bill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is glucosamine and chondroitin good for joints? If so, what are the best sources? And a non-nutrition based question, is sociology a science? Thanks. Love you guys.
Okay, we love you too, and there's nothing you can do about it. We will have to charge you 3 times the usual rate, though, for 3 questions. The answer to the first question is yes, no, plus, minus, maybe depending on your situation. There are a number of food sources that I could lead you towards. Showing the end of chicken bones will be one of them. There are also many, many supplements available that people sell that supposedly have good bioavailable sources.
This is the kind of thing that Google could answer better than us. Like best source of chondroitin and glucosamine. Or best food
because this is all
source.
off the top of our head stuff. That's where I'd be going for that.
Yeah.
Is sociology a science? Pseudo, in that many of the variables measured are themselves constructs rather than first principle physical measures of the properties of something in the universe. So there are always leaps of faith, therefore. Yep. That's my take.
We got a super chat just saying, hello from Brazil. Thank you for the answers.
You're very welcome.
And now we're stuck with it.
Thank you for the 2R.
Seriously.
Mm.
I see lots of Oh, there we go.
Very good.
Any thoughts on low-carb, older, 65-plus menopausal women avoiding estrogen supplementation due to proposed potential for clot formation?
Right, also not an area of expertise of mine, particularly in terms of that sort of side of the female hormonal system and menopause and all that kind of stuff. And from a what's normal, what's natural, what's ancestral point of view, assuming that that's the best thing biologically, given that we've now removed most of the other issues and dangers of living like cavemen by having comfortable houses and all of that kind of stuff and being the top of the food chain. Yeah. plus minus. Ideally, you don't see pictures of ancient people in caves doing that.
With hoses up their asses.
No, for coffee or any of that. Anything that's offered up to you will come with an attendant risk-benefit statement, be it given to you accurately or whether they just lie to you and say, oh, it's safe and effective. Because they do that too. Whoever they is, sometimes, apparently. Mm.
Oh, the dogs have switched beds. Good.
Oh, good. Mm.
Doesn't make any sense. Right. Yay, Bart started kefir.
Very good.
What's your thoughts on carnivore and type 1 diabetes?
In what regard?
I mean...
It's possible to do, absolutely. You just need to be working with your provider who...
Or look under this huge pile of crispy bacon and you might find someone who's actually type 1 diabetic doing that.
Yeah. Dr. Ryan Attar would be a good person to ask about that. He is a type 1 diabetic who is carnivore. You have to just get alongside your medical practitioner that's dealing with your insulin intake levels, and you need to adjust things appropriately for a diet which will not need the same insulin profile to be looked after.
Yeah.
For a start, I know that Ryan is now at the stage where he doesn't even use fast acting at all. It's all the slow, older generation stuff, just to trace that protein blip.
Yes.
And he's got his A1Cs at like 4.7 and 4.6 or something stupid
Which is
like
better than most fucking people's.
Yeah.
Got to say fucking again.
Yeah. So, look, there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is a route via carnivore here. It does work. You just need to sort the details with the insulin out. Thank you for the question.
Yes. When referencing protein intake, you mentioned X per kilo pounds of lean body mass. If one is carrying additional fat, how would they calculate the lean part of body mass?
This is an ideal body mass based on a BMI of 22.5 being the ideal of the healthy range. Very general, makes a lot of assumptions about who you are, where you come from, what your genetics are, and how much muscle you're holding, like it assumes that you're normally built. However, what you would do is you would take your height expressed in meters. So I'm 5'6", which is 168 centimeters, which is 1.68 meters. So I take that 1.68 meters and I multiply that by itself, giving me 3.2 something.
something.
Right. Then I multiply that by 22.5 and it gives me a weight that I should be in this range of 60 something kilograms, which is what it is, by the way. Well done, me. That's how you do it. Cool. Next.
I just ordered my first wellness pack. Do I start with 2 capsules a day of all 3 products?
Yes.
Yes. I'm not sure if Sandra has got this right, but wow, who is this calm fellow Kiwi I see before me? A very well-deserved thumbs up from this expat.
How you going? Kia ora. Yeah, no, that's not always how it is with the relaxation and stuff. When Ted twiddles the wrong knobs, technical things fail, the stream goes down. It's just a stream of vile invective, isn't it? Short words, stuff.
She might not have seen any of your
videos.
Yeah,
if you watch some of my videos online, when I get cross with some of these vegans and other people that say stupid things, there tends to be a bit of effing and blinding. It's all calm, though. It's all an act. Don't worry, it's a character, everybody. This isn't the real personality.
Kiwi. Right.
Yes.
Thank you for the super chat.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. Swallow.
Yes, fully laden still.
Your thoughts about why sauerkraut may not be that good for a healthy gut microbiome. Thank you.
I didn't really ever say that.
You just don't want the fibre.
I don't want the fibre, and I don't think it's necessary to do such seeding because everything you eat is prebiotic.
Oh, fuck.
Everything you eat, assuming that what you're eating is actually food, will have its own microbiome with it.
And with that, I could add the reason that I did kefir after my 5-day dry fast is that you do kill a lot of the gut bacteria after dry fasting as well, because you kill fucking everything that relies on water. It's not an ideal environment, so I just thought I shall do that. So there you go. Now, How does lactose metabolism differ from glucose metabolism? Is it better, worse, or equal?
There are different metabolic pathways for all sorts of different nutrients in, through, and out of the metabolic system at large. These are innumerate, huge, and voluminous. They all exist precisely because of a set of enzymes that exist, because of some links of DNA in that person's genes that tells the cell what enzymes to produce. None's a good or better, worse. They're all there for a reason to do a job. They're all there to work in concert to keep your homeostatic mechanism where it should be throughout the lifespan. Good.
Yes, hit the fucking like button.
Indeed, Master Chief, and I hope your convalescence is nearly over and you can return to active duty, taking names of latecomers, sending them to TED.
Yeah. And swear more.
Yes, and swear more. God damn it, Master Chief. Get this goddamn deck in order. Get it squared away and stuff. Carry on. Good.
Can a carnivore diet lower lipoprotein A? Told it never changes. Right.
There are arguments that say yes, no, and maybe existing in the literature, and it really depends on the source of funding and what the whole idea of the paper was supposed to be in the first place, the preconceived idea that they started with that seems to have quite an effect on what these papers say as well. At the end of the day, lipoproteins all exist because of a series of enzymes that exist because of some links of DNA in your chromosomes that encode for your body making those enzymes for reasons best left to 4,000 million years or so of evolutionary process. Your lipoproteins are never a source of concern as a risk factor for heart disease because they don't cause heart disease. You might want to watch a video on my channel called Heart Disease Solved! Any number of exclamation marks. It's about 20-something minutes long, and it's the whole layout, the disease of atherosclerosis, heart disease, in such a way that even intellectually challenged goldfish should be able to understand, which is why most academics can't get their head around it at all.
Because they are intellectually challenged goldfish.
Most of them.
Good. All right, next one. I see a lot of hype on the YouTubes about testing for methylation, particularly MTHFR gene, and supplementing with methyl folate. Thoughts?
Harry's a fan, I think.
So Harry will probably have a live stream later today if you're awake.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to ask him that question and you will get half an hour's thorough reply on the subject. Which
I personally almost certainly have that SNP, I believe, and I don't supplement with methylfolate. But
so Harry's version of TID will come and smack you up. Next.
Fuck your shit up.
My stool is once daily and either of runny or of hard consistency. Would it be possible to consult either of you with this issue? This issue.
Yeah. Certainly, you could consult with me on all of that. It would be a discussion to trace everything and get the history and all of that, of course, to find out where you're probably at. And my links for consultancy can be found underneath the video in the bit.ly link. Yes.
Very good. Out of curiosity, how does people on medications, let's say for high blood pressure and are taking insulin, start carnivore? How does this process look for these people and how do they stop taking meds?
You have to work in concert with your physician. They have to understand what you are doing. They have to understand that their opinion on whether you should do that or not has not been requested and that you are doing it. That being the case, they need to work with you to make sure that your dosing is all as it should be, etc., and you're taking the right form of the right acting stuff and all of that. There will be some planning involved, of course. That's the way it has to be, unfortunately, in your situation. And that's how it is. We transition that way, working together. And if your physician won't work with you, you need to fire them and get one that will.
Or get them to fire you.
Whatever.
Thoughts on breatharians?
Yeah, it's funny shit, isn't it? You can live on nothing but air. Of course you can. That makes sense. Yep. Was that short enough?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, good. I wouldn't want my answers to be too long and conclusive on anything.
What happens with caffeine addiction when dry fasting? Sorry, I'm skipping a lot of questions because we won't have time to answer all of them.
Fair enough. Mine is as it is. It's either an issue or it's not. Most of the time, I can live without drinking my normal 2 cups of coffee a day if I have to.
And bitch a lot about it.
And everything else too, because I find the dry fasting thing so far to be quite a painful experience. Maybe I'm doing lots of autophagy. Yes, must be.
I've heard about like people that are suffering a lot from it. So my recommendation would be like reduce your coffee intake before you go on any fast if you're not going to drink coffee while you're fasting. Just to make it a little bit more pleasant for yourself. Difference in ATP production from fat contra carbs, and how does that affect explosive durability training?
This is a whole can of worms, and it makes a bunch of assumptions around the body being able to make a bunch of choices that it actually really doesn't. And it's a reductionist argument from top to bottom. Holistically, the system is geared to produce energy optimally, pretty much irrespective of what's available, so long as you give that body long enough to adjust to the new chronic situation, such that the right genes that encode for the right enzymes are the ones that are upregulated by that person's genome, because genomes do that up and down regulation of that on the basis of the situation in which you place those genes at that time. The fact that you get more or less ATP per whatever, per acetyl chunk or what, it's really immaterial to overall functioning.
Roger, so I may as well answer this one that I accidentally clicked on then. Do you believe in a higher being, or are you atheists?
I have no evidence either way upon which to make such a determination. I am open-minded entirely. I think that's called agnosticism.
I believe in me.
I believe I can fly.
Do you?
Should we try
off the fucking roof.
No singing.
That too. I can see why dry fasting would increase fat metabolism for water, but why would dry fasting speed up immune system resetting?
I don't know. It just does. Apparently.
Well, a theory could be that you are under extreme fucking duress when all your cells are screaming for water.
Crisis,
and you are dehydrated, and as soon as your body is actually getting those nutrients, it will just flip and start overproducing all the things to repair everything that has been destroyed. You're literally destroying things in your body when you're dry fasting. It's not a good condition.
Yeah.
It's you want the effect of being in a very hostile environment for a while.
Crusty old bits of your cellular machinery is being chomped into bits and swallowed up into acid-containing vats inside your cells for demolition and stuff. It's a crisis. That's why I have her around. She's got the answers.
Some
of them.
Not all of them. What vitamins, D3, K2 supplements would you recommend?
I don't have a brand I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend D3 or K2 supplementation necessarily anyway, because why would you? What do you think?
Sorry, I missed it. I was reading a funny comment. I shall read it soon.
Right.
I'll just agree with whatever you said.
You heard it first here, boys and girls. That's the first time we've heard anything quite like that on the show.
Well, I have no real comments.
Fuck me. Wow. Incredible. All right, good.
I want to read a funny comment.
History was made today.
100% Pim. Vegans may need enemas to clear out the nuts from the colon. Take that any way you want. Kellogg was big on enemas twice a day. Not natural.
Yeah, there were many things about that boy that were a bit questionable.
Yes. Get the nuts out of your colon.
Yes. Like, why would you be so fixated on other people's masturbation?
I have no idea. Steak and eggs and eggs and steak.
That's what you should have for breakfast.
We don't need to sing it.
No singing.
I haven't read this question, but there's a cue. Is there any valid science behind stool analysis? I have heard some YouTubers provide kits to send in.
Oh, send us your shit, and we'll analyse it for you. 1,000 pounds a crack or whatever. $100 squids, whatever. Awesome. It depends on who's conducting what tests and what competence they have to make any kind of statement about anything, which is probably limited for most of these things, I would suggest. Because the other thing is, without sending them a case series of your stools over months and possibly years, that it's a snapshot on that day, at that time, sort of thing. But look, I'll tell you what. If you really want to send your money somewhere, send it to us as the payment for the fee. And the parcel of shit should be sent to His Majesty's Government, Wellington, New Zealand. All right, do that. What do you think?
Yeah.
Like it?
It's really good.
Good.
You shall get a reply from us once we get the money.
That's it. Right, but don't forget the shit parcel to Wellington.
Yes, we need to...
Because we can't analyse it otherwise. Yeah. Good.
High blood pressure on carnivore causes.
Usually, if this is going on, it's a combination of stress, distress, psychology, coffee use, abuse, too much protein intake, leading to gluconeogenesis, leading to a higher than normal basal insulin curve, leading to an inability to excrete sodium, leading to increased blood pressure, that kind of thing. It's a discussion to sit down and trace it all through with a person, though. Anything to add on that?
I didn't listen.
Morticia?
I was, again, reading questions. Another funny one. I recently saw a Dr. Chafee video and he answered the question exactly like the professor. I even heard it in Bart's voice.
Excellent. 2 F's and 2 E's, though, if you wouldn't mind.
Spell it right, or we shall not read your questions or comments.
There are 1 or 2 people out there either admitting or not to having been influenced by what I say in a lot of different matters and repeating it, copying it. I call it being an educator. It's what I do. So I just take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Someone likes kefir. What do you think about the sun for health? Why are you not more tanned? Because it's fucking winter.
We were tanned in the summer, very tanned, and we do. We spend a lot of time in the summer, in the winter. That's the design. It's seasonal.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't do tanning beds.
No, that's not natural. Plus, also, I believe in there being a yearly. There's supposed to be, I think. So this is our winter edition. Good. Thanks for the question.
Yes, and even when I'm tanned, it doesn't look like I'm that tanned. Yes. I have a built-in fucking sun repellent. I'm outside a lot more than you, I think, and he's always looks a lot browner than me. I don't know what's wrong with my skin.
Nothing, my love.
It's just like, go away.
See how I did that, boys?
Is homocysteine blood results marker something to be concerned about? Any indication that a higher or lower result is better?
It really depends case by case. That's something I would need a whole history for to even start thinking about what context or framework are we even in. Yes, it could potentially be a problem or not. In a case-by-case situation.
Right, we're getting closer to the end now, finally.
This is the end.
Gallbladder removed. Any advice or additional considerations on carnivore?
Yeah, there are 1 or 2. You do need to be careful with your level of fat intake. You also do need to be careful with your level of protein intake because, again, with the whole gluconeogenesis, sodium, high blood pressure thing I was talking about before, that can happen. It's a management situation. I would go with those 5 health hacks on that video as a good place to start.
The 5 ones.
Because you can see the palm of my hand, which means I'm absolutely trustworthy, you see. And you can also count that there's 5 because I've got 5
I have a bigger hand. Oh.
Right. Join us later for a pissing contest. I win.
We're getting tired of this. So let's read more questions.
Right. Good.
In terms of beef, is there a healthier cut, or is a variety of beef cuts not even a necessity?
I don't think it's a necessity. We like picanha quite a lot. Rump cap for those that are heathens and don't understand. I'm also very fond of lamb as well.
We haven't had lamb for a while.
Never mind the rest of the cow. We're forgetting the lamb, I think. I like lamb.
Yeah. I haven't had any offers at the butchers for lamb for ages. So I think the freezer is now lamb depleted.
Right.
That was the last question. And yes, I did skip some.
All right.
Along the way, but I'm not going to scroll back. So,
okay.
Fuck you!
Apparently. The Queen has spoken. She can't be fucked any longer.
Harry says next week live streams, not this week. Okay.
Right, we better find some time then.
To Harry's stream next week and ask him all your Harry questions. I have skipped some Harry's questions because you say, Harry said this, what do you think about that? Let fucking Harry answer it. He's here.
That's it.
Now we have 2 questions. So what animals have you 2 eaten?
Oh, it's an extensive list.
Just like the normal ones.
Mostly we eat beef. Sometimes we eat lamb, pork, chicken.
I think they mean probably weird animals.
Weird. Okay, what's the weirdest shit I've ever eaten?
Ostrich?
I had some alligator once.
I haven't had that. What does that taste like?
Do you know what you imagine sorrel might taste like if you took the capsule off?
Ew.
Yeah, it's kind of... This will be green and slimy, pondy tasting, what the fuck.
Really?
And a bit kind of rubbery.
But it looks like red meat.
Nonetheless, it was kind of rubbery. And, yeah. And not really sort of either red or white. But also I had a large swathe of fat.
Have you eaten frog legs?
No, I've never done that. No,
I haven't either.
Frog legs? No.
I haven't eaten a lot of strange animals, to be honest.
Neither, really. I've been quite closeted. Beef and lamb and beef, maybe some pork and chicken. And don't
Someone
forget
has missed why you're not making videos. So may I ask if Bart will return to making videos, or is he still on vacation? Big fan, love your humour.
No, it's not a vacation. It's what we're doing is transitioning to a situation where I'm going to have an editor that's going to do all of that for me, whereas hitherto I've been doing all of that myself, and it's too much. So I've provided said editor with some raw material, and he's going to put together what he puts together, and if it works out, he'll continue doing that, and that'll be good.
So that was the last one then.
Right. So yeah, do stick around. There will be more postings on the channel. And yeah, no, I'm absolutely not on holiday. I wish I was. Yes.
Somewhere sunny. So we can get that fucking tan.
Why are you so fucking tan? Because we're on the other side of the world, doofus. Yes. All right.
Yes.
We love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you should have steak and eggs for breakfast.
Yes. Eat them bloody eggs.
Yep. Just making sure you heard.
Bye.